And so I wanted to throw some lists at you guys and see your thoughts on it, or if there was any additions that you thought needed to be made on some Christmas miracles. And let's go over the moments. As I said, 6 games where they were down with 2 minutes left in the game. Not all those games made this list, but I gave my top 5 Christmas miracle moments of the season. And here they are. Obviously, number 1 for me is the Green Bay onside kick.
Solid.
Just when you thought that all the moments that we've had this season couldn't be topped,
right?
Then the onside kick happens. It's like a 1 in 12 shot.
A true miracle.
Yeah.
A true miracle.
If not for that, we're not smiling today. Number 2, Josh Blackwell blocking the field goal in Las Vegas. We were there in the stands. That was one of the most special moments. I was screaming.
Josh Blackwell, he's been having a really good season. He's been in a lot of plays this year.
He got a Pro Bowl snub today. The Bears announced the NFL announced who the Pro Bowlers were for this year. Kevin Byard, Joe Thuney, and Drew Dahlman were the three recipients here from the Bears. And I felt like Josh Blackwell was
thought he was
big
be in
snub.
There. Yeah. I mean, he's had a very impressive year. He's been all over the football field and come away with some really big plays to, push the Bears ahead. So, yeah, for me, that's a snub.
Yeah, he jumps on the onside kick against the Packers. So that's number 1. And number 2, he blocks the field goal in Vegas. They talk about after the game how they scouted that throughout the week. He's great across the board tackling, and even in the return game, he'll get the ball.
He's everywhere.
Yeah. Last year he had a big return against the Packers. I know that's not this season, but still his talents on that.
I'm glad he's a Chicago Bear.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Number 3 for me was the Jaden Daniels fumble on Monday Night Football on the final drive. That was such an unreal moment.
A screamer.
It was a screaming moment. A lot of screaming moments this year. People have compared my scream to that. Have you ever seen that video of the goat?
Yes.
The goat screaming.
Yes.
I keep getting that from people.
I mean, I see
you're
the
gonna
similarity.
have to, Steven, with that audio. We're gonna have to come up with the picture of the goat.
I think I could do that. You won't even know the difference, though. I'm just gonna swap your audio for the goat's audio. It's gonna look identical.
Well, not even take the goat's audio. Just get the picture of that goat and put the audio.
Communicating.
Hey, I'm not gonna hide from it. I'm a screamer. The Jaden Daniels.
He admits that he's a screamer.
I've admitted it finally.
And a goat herder.
So that Jaden Daniels fumble was unbelievable. Let the Bears back into the game. Deshaun Wright jumps on it. Bears go the other way. Kick the field goal with Jake Moody, of all people, to win the game against the Commanders, as the Bears were early on finding their way to be a team of destiny that they have become. Let's get to the final 2. Number 4 for me, the first 3 I really wanted to focus on trying to find things that were kind of outside of the Bears' control, where the other team did it more so than what the Bears did it.
Right.
I understand execution at the end of the day. They all deserve credit. I'm not taking anything away from the onside kick or the blocked field goal or any of that. Like, the Bears earned those moments, but they needed some lack of execution from the other team for those moments to happen. Now, the Colston Loveland touchdown against the Bengals at number 4 for me really stands out for one reason. That's all Caleb Williams and Colston Loveland.
That's
and
right,
their
the
talent.
connection. Yep.
They earned that moment, so you could pick nits and say that's not a miracle. The reason I put it in there is because just by the chance that Caleb threw it slightly behind Colston instead of leading him, if you go back and watch the replay, because he throws it behind him, it changes the trajectory of the safety, and then all of a sudden Colston turns and there's nobody there. Right. And if he had let him, which I'm sure that's what he was trying to do. It was a great ball, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if he had let him, it's a tackle. Like you talked about in the first segment of, once you make a decision on your line of how you're going to tackle, you've committed.
Yeah.
And he had committed at that point, and then all of a sudden the trajectory of the play changed, which opened up the floodgates for Colston. So I just felt like that needed to be a...
I don't know if he was trying to lead them. The things about quarterbacks is they see where the defenders are, and great ones put the ball in a position where the receiver can maximize his talent and his ability to create some space. So putting him behind when he sees guys that are leading up, that just sounds more like like a throw that the quarterback wanted to make.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely a field type of situation. With both.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Caleb obviously saw what he saw, but at the same time, like if you're running that route, Colston Loveland has a feel and a sense of like where everybody and all the defenders are as well. So, and where the ball needs to be.
Right.
And it was just a really great connection. Mm-hmm. It was really nice to see.
Well, and really, in the moment, I think they were just trying to get into field goal range. A field goal would have won that game.
Right.
And then instead, they had no timeouts either.
Right.
And so then instead, he catches it. Oh my gosh, I have this lane, I'm open. And now he starts sprinting for the end zone. If he gets tackled, they're not going to be able to get down up to the line of scrimmage to spike the ball and clock it. And now it's a chase for who's going to get to the goal line first. Colston wins the race. That's your top 10 tight end winning the game in a big moment. So I had to throw that on there. Everything that happened in that game, the Bengals got an onside kick in that game.
Yes, they did.
They are the ones that flipped the script, and it was almost a reverse miracle on the Bears. Instead, the Bears were like, we'll take that back.
Uno reverse.
Uno reverse card. Number 5, I really struggled to pick something in particular, and so I went with I really struggled with what number 5 should be. There's been so many, you could go to the Iceman moment against the Giants, but that was all Caleb Williams' talent. You could go to so many different moments. There was 5 different ones I could have picked from just this Packers game alone. The face mask on 3rd and 20 that got them back into field goal range. And so ultimately I went with the tush push fumble, which was all Nashawn Wright.
It's a great one.
He earned that play. That's not really a miracle in terms of luck. But the reason I call it that is, how many times have we seen Philadelphia fail to execute on the tush push?
Right.
They've won a Super Bowl in the last year from it. They have dominated, so much so that the league's trying to ban the play.
Exactly. It's a big play right there.
And instead, the Bears took their greatest play, their staple, and made it something that they failed at, and it led to the Bears really opening up the floodgates and really taking it to them in Philly. And that's a good segue to our top 5 miracles of the Christmas miracles of this season in terms of the players on this roster. And number 1, right out the gate, Nashawn Wright. I finally learned how to spell his name correctly. All year long, I've been not including the first H.
Not correct.
What have you been saying?
Yeah.
I've been putting Nashon.
Oh.
And it's actually Nahshon. What'd you say, Briggs?
Not surprised. I'm not surprised that you messed up Nashawn Wright's name.
So easy.
Well, next week next week when we do our New Year's
resolution, I bet you could do Brock Purdy fine.
Real good.
Yeah, I appreciate simple names like Greg. Okay. Nashawn Wright, though, taking it back to the list, as number 1 Christmas miracle of the Bears this year. Who would have seen him coming? A guy that was on the Vikings practice squad. He had familiarity with Al Harris in Dallas. Comes here. You just think he's going to be a complimentary player behind a loaded secondary in Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, and company. And instead, the injuries mount all the way back to the start of camp.
To the start.
And now he's got to step in and make plays. And that is all he's done from day 1 of camp all the way to this last game against the Packers.
Yeah.
And when you would talk about Pro Bowl snubs, again,
He's one of them.
Nashawn Wright, how he wasn't brought to him and Byard are leading the NFL in takeaways.
Yeah.
How is he not a Pro Bowler? That is
I'm not sure about
unbelievable
that.
to me.
Yeah. Talk about taking advantage of your opportunities as well. I mean, obviously you could play football, but just getting in there early and then just mixing it up and then becoming like a staple on the corner, like, cheers to him, man. Like, he's really put in the time and the effort and the work to make sure that he is well prepared on the football field, and he's going out there, and the bottom line is to make plays, and he's making a lot of them.
All right, well, let's get to the rest of this list of some Christmas miracles on this team. And number 2, Kyle Manangai.
You got it right.
Yeah, I mean, a seventh round pick out of Rutgers. He's closing in on having 1,000 yards rushing on the season. It's going to be close, but he's like 200 and change away from getting to 1,000 yards on the season. He's had an incredible year.
Yeah, I mean, he's busting onto the scene. There was a lot of question marks about our running backs going into the season as well. But we've answered, they've answered the call. And he's now a staple for the Chicago Bears. He's a nice change of pace with Swift. And he runs extremely hard. So I'm really satisfied with his play. And I think that, even though he's a rookie, I feel like he's starting to really get going. So we need to continue to feed the ball to him.
Briggs,
the one thing I've been most impressed with Kyle Manangai is from the very beginning. I said, listen, he was drafted in the 7th round or 6th round for a reason. He was drafted late for a reason, and we're going to find out why. And the guy up until now has really changed my mind on that. And I said, it doesn't matter how – I was saying early on, I was like, it doesn't matter how good he does this year. We need to draft another running back next year. I've changed my tune. I changed my mind on that. He's been that good. He's been that good and that consistent this year, consistently good, that I think we have our 2 running backs, and I'm happy with them. I'm more than happy with them. They've enough said.
Let's get through the list here. Number 3 here on my Christmas Miracle list, player edition, is CJ Gardner-Johnson, who comes in after the Bears lose to the Ravens.
Yeah.
Since he's joined this team, he got banged up. We'll see what his injury status here is for the rest of the week. But since he's joined the Bears, and they needed him because Kyler Gordon hasn't been able to stay healthy all year, and CJ's been able to fill that role and the experience he's had in Dennis Allen's defense. CJ Gardner-Johnson is 7-1
Let's go.
Since joining the Bears.
Yeah, he's created a spark on the defensive side and for the whole team as a whole. I mean, he's been making plays and sticking his nose into situations to get, running backs down and things like that. Like, he's been playing extremely tough, and he's been bringing a physicality to this defense as well, and playmaking as well. So, kudos to him, and I'm really, really glad that he got to this defense and we inserted him, and he's immediately making an impact on this team.
All right, final 2. We'll get through these here quick. DeMarco Jackson, another guy that the Bears are going to have to make a decision on because he's liable to get paid here in the offseason. Even in the short period of time that he came in, he won Player of the Week a couple weeks ago in the NFC, and they needed him. When Tremaine Edmonds came out, who's been having an unbelievable year, DeMarco Jackson, Briggs, really stepped up in a big way.
He's been amazing. I think his effort is the one thing that stands out. When you come out and you get 14, 15 tackles, especially in consecutive weeks, that just means that it really means it matters to you. You're showing up wherever the ball is, you're there. Whether you're making the tackle or you're making an assist or you're slowing up just so that you don't get a late hit. He's been impressive. Now, the thing about him and CJ Gardner-Johnson and Nashawn Wright, it's going to be hard to keep all of these players. But what they do have, they have a formula to say, okay, we know what we're looking for in the player. So if we lose, let's say if we lose Jackson, we know what we're looking for as far as the build, what kind of play, how they play to bring in another guy, that they can replace him with. Because these players are very good. I just don't know if I don't think we can retain all of these great players that have backed up our great players that got hurt.
Yeah, and then finally here, as we're getting up against the break, my final miracle was the fact that Joe Thuney became available for a trade.
Yes.
And he made the Pro Bowl, final Pro Bowler, and Byard as well. But Joe Thuney, an all-pro, one of the best players in the league, all of a sudden becomes available. You know, we're sitting there talking about Trey Smith all offseason. Chiefs keep him. All of a sudden, they're like, well, Joe Thuney, we might have to make expendable. The guy is blocked for Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. He leaves the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't in the playoffs, and now the Bears are. And I'm not saying he's solely responsible for both those shifts, but it's just he is just such a the kind of guy you want in that locker room to be able to lay down those rings on the table. Go ahead,
And
Steven.
let's not forget, it was a 4th-round pick they traded for a future Hall of Famer.
Right.
That's insane.
And then he signed an extension.
Yeah.
So
super valuable to the Chicago Bears team and organization.
yeah, he has been godsent. That offensive line, when you talk about how great
addition.
Monangai in this run game has been, it's
Exactly.
because of this offensive line.